Hello again and welcome to the hotspot. We are live for the first time in a while, and I do welcome you aboard. Let's get this set and ready for this Manchester United conversation. The biggest conversation concerning Manchester United now is about the boss, Erik Ten Hag, and whether or not he should be sacked. Now, this is dark, but it's on purpose. We have to get proper into this conversation. So join me up as we do come on to go into this debate concerning this big football club. I see the one you are on now already. Because here we are. Now you see me. Let's get proper into this Manchester United talk. Now, Erik Ten Hag has been the subject of a lot of debate about whether he's the right manager to take charge of Manchester United or not. And last season, maybe that was never a debate because of how he turned things around at Manchester United, the players he brought in, the likes of Casemiro, and how Manchester United actually performed last season, finishing third. And really, it was against all odds, to be honest, and it looked like we are progressing. But just a few months after, we come into this season and Erik Ten Hag is struggling in every front, in every sense of the word. Erik Ten Hag is struggling to make things happen for Manchester United. Even the players that he brought that we felt were so important are failing to perform for him. Now, what's the problem? Is it a case of him being clueless and not knowing what exactly to do? Perhaps not, because he has proved that he's a good manager at Ajax, but also he's the one who brought these players in the first place. But why exactly is he failing? And what should be the verdict? Of course, so many of you have been calling for his head. He should be sacked. He should go. I mean, how many coaches should managers shall we lose for us to be maybe to be convinced that the managers are not exactly the problem? Maybe from David Moyes, Luis Van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, name them, former players, the greatest managers of the time, and everyone. We've had all of them, but we have still struggled to perform. So could it be that the problem is not the managers? Anyway, let's focus on Erik Ten Hag. My name is Webb. It's been a long time since I've been live, guys, and I really missed you. But it was mostly because of course, me trying to fix some sound issues so that I come live for long hours and sound good in your ears. You can give me your feedback on the sound. Of course, there should be room for improvement. I still want it to be clearer than this, but don't you worry. We'll fix it. Cecil Lee is on already. I don't know where Cecil Lee is from, but he says no. I think his players don't give him their all. Think about it. All the coaches that came before him, they got too much money. Uh, uh, okay, that's according to Cecil Lee. Thank you for coming through. Our first comment coming through from Cecil Lee on this return. Now, let me give you my opinion on Erik Ten Hag and why uh, there is reason for this debate to come up now, and this is why. Erik Ten Hag is a good manager, is a good coach without a doubt, but like Zlatan Ibrahimovic mentioned just a few weeks ago in his interview with Piers Morgan, maybe he needs time to learn how to manage a club the magnitude of Manchester United, more so during this time when he inherited a club in trouble. But the reality is Erik Ten Hag is struggling to keep it together and leave alone what's happening off the pitch, because obviously we know, and I know for a fact, that what happens off the pitch will have an impact on what you do on the pitch as a manager. Obviously, the takeover and all that will affect you, but also the injuries that have affected the team a lot. But now we are seeing many players fit and returning. But for me, here's why I think we need to critically criticize, rather scrutinize Erik Ten Hag. We've had players like, let's say, Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford last season was our best player. He scored, I think, over 30 goals in all competitions. He was the best player at the end of the season in our Player of the Year awards and all. Deservedly so. In fact, the generous Glazers, rather, the generous John Matters of this world, went on to award him a huge, huge contract. Almost 400,000 quid per week is what he's earning. And I questioned that, saying, whereas he did perform so well, did he warrant earning such a crazy amount of money? But That is United for you anyway. They are always in the mood of giving and giving, 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 and giving. Okay, say it. He earned it. He earned the honor. But it cannot be a coincidence that just the next season, 10 games into the season, he's our worst player. You cannot go from that to this. Even when I know for a fact that the best players struggle to perform at times, they all even the best players always have bad spells. I don't understand how Marcus Rashford can go from where he was up there, the rooftop, to down, 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 like the bay of sorts in just a split second. It means there could be a change. Maybe, and for me, this is where I focus on Erik Ten Hag and his tactics and maybe lack of and we've been crediting him for being having character and ruthlessness, but maybe when it comes to the football pitch matters, he fails because it seems Marcus Rashford is not clearly guided on what is expected of him. It seems Erik Ten Hag expects him to still be scoring goals, yet for us, the fans, we expect him to be assisting Rasmus Højlund. Now, this I get from the press conferences we've had Erik Ten Hag speak about Marcus Rashford as a person he's expecting to score goals, rediscover his goal scoring boots, and score goals like he did last season. So for me, that alone shows me that probably this boy who we are hitting and attacking for not being effective and scoring goals, probably he's being confused by his manager. Probably the manager is the one confusing him. For us, the fans feel he should be assisting Rasmus Højlund. His boss is telling him, no, I need you to be scoring goals and I trust that you come back to goal scoring goals and rediscover your goal scoring touch. Isn't that Erik Ten Hag now being the problem, failing his players? Because you cannot say all of a sudden Marcus Rashford is our worst player. He was our worst player in the loss to Manchester City, in the Manchester Derby. To be honest, he was our worst player. I think he had the least touches on the ball. He was just running around left, right, and center. And for some reason, oh, okay, someone is saying the volume is too low. I thought I sorted this volume thing, this whole sound situation. But sorry and thank you for that, Chamanyo Magezi Gerard. Uh, Thank you for that. Well, it sounds okay to me, but it's all right. We'll fix it. We'll fix it with time. We'll fix it. I have no doubt about that. But it won't stop me from trying to strain my voice for me to emphasize the points. Why Erik Ten Hag should take a certain significant amount of the flack being sent towards Manchester United. And don't get me twisted, I love Ten Hag. I have supported Ten Hag. I've backed him all the way. I've believed in the things he was even when I had no reason. For example, him signing Mason Mount. I was excited even when I was wondering what exactly Mount is going to solve for us. But I was excited that we signed him because in the manager, in Ten Hag, I trust. But going back to what I was saying, for me, I think part of why the conversations about calling for his head can make sense is that the decisions he makes on the pitch consistently. Look, biggest games we've played so far this season, you're playing Man City at Old Trafford, we are playing Arsenal, and we are looking for goals. The man pulls off our only hope for a goal, Rasmus Højlund. Everyone is booing. We can't all be mad. How are we then as supporters? Because one of the reasons why United has always been known for comebacks is because the supporters will be charged up to rally behind the players. The 12th player, who are the fans in the stand, will rally behind that team until the last minute. Now, if even the fans are not understanding your substitutions, are booing your substitutions, who is going to rally behind these players in terms of giving them that extra support? No one, because we also don't believe in what you're doing. So, is that still the right manager for us? That's a question for you to think about. Think about the way we play, guys. And last season, let's not focus on last season. Last season is gone, it's behind us. But look at this season, from the start of the season. What have we improved in? Erik Ten Hag was talking about ball recoveries and us being number one in ball recoveries. Look, is that how low we've fallen? That the Manchester United manager is going into a game talking about how Man United is number one in ball recoveries in the Premier League. Really? Is that how low we've fallen? Is this so? For me, that's unacceptable. And again, that again waters the debates about Ten Hag not being the right man anymore. And you see, the sad bit is whereas managers need time, and of course you can go on and say, how many of them shall we sack for us to get to the right one? Are we just going to keep sacking managers, keep sacking them until you get the right one? Because I mean, otherwise you're going to dip the club. Man United can become a relegation club at this rate if we don't salvage the situation. Look, Sheffield United has easily been the beating stock of everyone in the Premier League. Look how we struggled to beat Sheffield United. Arsenal pumped them 5, Newcastle obliterated them, I think 8. I mean, Manchester United struggled to beat Sheffield United, who have only got, I think, a single point in the Premier League since their promotion. Look at how we play, with players running into each other as if PE football. We've seen games where I think, and someone corrected me, I was thinking it is just one game where it happened. I think my eyes were letting me down, or my memory was. It's almost in every game that we see players running into each other. What does that show? Poorly managed players. There is no improvement in anything. There is nothing you look at in Man United and you're thinking, okay, in this week in training, they worked on this and it improved. The one thing I expected Ten Hag to work on after the first, which game was it? I think against Arsenal, when Marcus Rashford was as selfish as the word, I expected Ten Hag to work on Rashford picking Rasmus Højlund. The next press conference, Ten Hag is coming out and backing Rashford to look for goals and hope that he can come back to goal scoring ways. Now, you think about all that and you're thinking, what is he doing? He pulled off Amrabat in that loss to Man City. Yes, Amrabat did not have his best game, but putting off Amrabat, who was the number 6, to bring Scott McTominay. Well, this man at times just complicates football. It didn't make sense at all. It did not make sense to me at all. Tell me if it did make sense to you. It did not make sense to me at all. Because you don't pull off Amrabat and push McTominay behind against a Manchester City that you're looking for goals. Then you start Rafael Varane on the bench, and you start Johnny Evans. Then Victor Lindelof starts on the left for the first time against Manchester City. So for me, all these are signs that show me that maybe, yes, he's a good manager. He was good when he had just arrived, but maybe the job has become way too big for him. Or there's a school of thought that he's probably not interested in the job anymore, that he's frustrated with the whole takeover situation and all, and he's doing things to try and get the sack, because he knows if he resigned, maybe he won't get certain amounts of money or compensations and all. I mean, because some things Ten Hag does that do not make sense. The statements he makes, the press conferences he gives, the things he says in the press conferences, show someone who is not sure of what he's doing, who is trying to defend himself, who is not in control of what he's doing, and it doesn't look well for a Manchester United manager. You listen how he explained the tactics behind him benching Varane and Sergio Reguilon, and now probably at the back of his mind he knows he could have said what he said about Sancho, that maybe they didn't train well for him and they didn't impress him, but he saw what happened with Sancho. You can't say the same against about Varane. You don't know what to expect. So for me, I feel like even his mind is not in the right place, to be honest, as a manager, and all that points to the problems we see in him, and again watering the debate that maybe he's not the man for the job. But then, for those of you who say he should be sacked, if Erik Ten Hag is sacked, who should come in? Bring Ole back? People talk of a former legend of the club. Who will you bring in to turn things around for United? Because even the players we have probably are not good enough. Yes, Ten Hag could be a problem, but are the players good enough? Are they putting in the hard yards? Are they putting in their shift? Do they play for him? Maybe they're not good enough because they don't want to play for him. So then you think about again, think of again Ten Hag and his weaknesses, his lack of decision making, his indecision. Of course, he makes certain ruthless decisions that you can question, to say banishing one of your highest paid players just because he said you are not, what you said wasn't right and all. Is that how you manage a player, such a high profile player, like at a club like Manchester United? Maybe, maybe not. But his management should be questioned. He seems to have failed to manage players at that level. And guys, the next time I be live, I'll be taking calls. Hassan Basegera is saying Glazers should leave Old Trafford first before Ten Hag. It's like players are training a lot. I don't know why we have a lot of injuries. The way we played in this season isn't the way we are playing now. In the last season, in his first season, yes, that's right. Ten Hag should be on his way going. This is according to Omo Moses. So you can see how certain people do not feel Eric. And again, like I said, he is not, even when we love him and we want to defend him, he doesn't make it easy for us. He doesn't do himself any favors because of certain things he makes. His indecision. How on earth? Well, he made the brutal decision of banishing Jadon Sancho and then stripping Harry Maguire of the captaincy, giving it to Bruno Fernandes. I have the video. If you haven't watched it, it's there. Going to my old videos. I have never thought or looked at Bruno Fernandes as a captain. Never have I. Never will I. I don't think, yes, he's one of our most talented players. He's not a leader. Leaders don't mourn and just keep shouting and complain at everything. They should be the ones actually calming the others down. He doesn't have the character of a captain, and even Roy Keane, Captain Fantastic, said it himself. So will Ten Hag again make the ruthless decision and strip him of the captaincy again? Because clearly the club lacks leadership. Actually, I think when Harry Maguire is on the pitch, he takes up and executes the captain's duties a lot better than Bruno Fernandes does. Again, point at the manager. If a manager you work with these players and it's me who doesn't be at Carrington, I can see that Bruno Fernandes was never the right person to skip a Man United after Harry Maguire. Never has he been. Now, if Ten Hag, you who works with these players every day, you could not see that, and now it's glaring, and perhaps you now have a decision to make on your hands. Do I strip him again and get another captain? Are we going to be a club of hopping from captain to another? There are no leaders in this team. Why? We should point to the manager. And also, it looks like the players do not want to play for him because perhaps he's too ruthless. They see how he's treating other players, but also his favoritism of Anthony. Pelistri has been playing. Anthony has been away for 2 weeks with dealing with his allegations against him and his ex-girlfriend. Pelistri is trying to put in the shift, trying to throw in the ring as a contender for a starting place. Anthony comes back after 2 weeks. Pelistri never returns on the pitch, never steps on the pitch again. Anthony is put there to do a lot of nothing. He has done absolutely nothing. Again, favoritism. From a manager of Manchester United, you don't do that. You sign Mason Mount as your first signing, ripped off. Clearly, everyone saw it that Mason Mount was never worth that amount of money. He was even not supposed to be bought by Man United in the first place. But somehow, Ten Hag convinced us that he's a very important player and he went for him first in the summer transfer window when we have little money to spend. He gets Mason Mount. He's now a bench player. He can't even start a game against Man City. Your first signing cannot start against Man City. What does it speak about you as a manager? So for me, these are things we should, with an open mind, even when we all love Ten Hag and we want to back him, don't get it twisted. We love the club more and we've got to be honest and scrutinize everything he does, but also his situation. If he doesn't respond, and for me, response for Ten Hag would be benching Bruno, benching Marcus Rashford, benching players who are not performing, and giving a chance to young players. For me, that is what it will look like. That is what changing things will be for Manchester United, for Ten Hag. If that doesn't happen, I'm afraid I will be on the same bandwagon of people saying Ten Hag should go. I will jump on that bandwagon because, again, at this rate, I think actually we can't actually be fighting relegation because there is no improvement in nothing. The only improvement there is individuals. Andrew Nana and Harry Maguire, our two formerly worst best players, are the best players right now. They are improving and putting in the hard yards. This one says the likes of Pelistri, that's Hassan Bisegera, the likes of Pelistri and Ahmad should be sold and get one proven versatile winger. But you see, this thing of selling and getting others, we've sold and bought. We've bought Antony for what, 75 million quid? We've brought all these players we brought. What have they done? From way back, we brought the Di Marias, Sanchez. Who did we not buy? For how much? They are not very good players, right? They are only a handful. But if you have potential in those young players, the Pelistris, the Amads of this world, the Mason Greenwoods of this world, the Rasmus Hoylunds of this world, look to them. The best managers always look to young players, unless you're Real Madrid, Galacticos, which I don't think works in the Premier League. Galactico approaches, but also managing Galacticos is difficult. There are not so many managers right now who can manage big players, so many star players in one team. So, but even the UEFA financial fair play rules make it difficult for you to use that approach. So, the only thing for Erik Ten Hag to do, for Manchester United to do right now, is to resort to the young players. Sir Alex Ferguson, the team that won Ferguson the treble, was hugely composed of the class of 92. The Beckhams, the Gary Nevilles, the name them, Paul Scholes, those kids from the class of 92. He looked at young players and he built on young players. That's what you do. Ten Hag doesn't seem to be sure. And you see, it doesn't mean you should chase away all the senior players and go for a lot of. You need experience and balance in the team. But when there is a justification for a young player to be there ahead of a senior player, put him there. If Kobe Maino is performing better than Casemiro and Amrabat, Kobe Maino should be starting games. If Mason Greenwood is your best player, Mason Greenwood should be on the pitch. If Fanakundo Pelistri is doing better than Marcus Rashford or Antonio Dos Santos, Pelistri should be starting games. That is how you trust young players and show them that you believe in them, that you know what you're sure they can lead you somewhere. But also these young players are hungrier. They will play for you. Rashford has no motivation now. He's earning £400,000 per week for doing nothing. I think that's almost even more, perhaps almost it's probably almost what Erling Haaland is earning at Manchester City. And the same money Rashford is earning doesn't make sense. So for me, all these things point to Ten Hag, and like I said, he has got the time. But trust me, if we lose against Newcastle tomorrow at Old Trafford, trust me, it will be a whole different conversation, because this is Manchester United. Yes, you will have the time until you have it, and now he does have the time to put things right. If he doesn't, trust me, it will be a whole different conversation, because United is not about to be disrespected. The legends of the club are talking bad about it right now. All we are selling now as a club is history. We have nothing. There is no pattern. We are not building anything. We have no identity. We are all over the place like a body rush. We can't be us. This can't be us. This can't be Manchester United. So, for me, should Ten Hag be sacked? Not now. Should he be warned? Should he stand warned? Yes, he should be stand warned that he can't be sacked if he does not do things right. If he does not trust young players, if he does not make the right drastic decisions on the pitch, non-drastic decisions of letting Cristiano Ronaldo go in the way he did, of letting David De Gea go without clear reason, of signing Mason Mount ahead of important players. Erik Ten Hag should be making the right drastic decisions on the pitch, and that is bench your captain if he's not performing, bench Marcus Rashford, your best player and most highly paid player, if he's not performing. Do it. Those are the drastic decisions that you should make as Erik Ten Hag if you are going to redeem yourself. Otherwise, it's problems for us. But a game is coming up. Of course, it's our title defense still on the fourth round of the Carabao Cup. We do take on Newcastle, the team we beat in the final. Marcus Rashford and Casemiro scored those goals. Rashford maybe not to be playing that one. Casemiro could be returning in the squad, but we've got Kobe Maino. He was in the squad, didn't play unused, but part of the squad. that loss to Manchester City. I hope we test him first against Newcastle, and I hope he starts the game actually, and we see what he does. So for me, that's my honest verdict on this whole Erik Ten Hag and him being sacked situation. But let me know what you personally think about Erik Ten Hag. But also, what changes do you want to see in the Newcastle game? Eddie Hove, the Newcastle doesn't have Alexander Isak, my son's favorite Newcastle player. My son is a Newcastle fan, but they will beat United if Ten Hag doesn't pull his socks up. They will beat us at Old Trafford, and that will mean trouble for him, but also more pain for the fans, pain for us. But yeah, that's for me. What I see, that's what I feel. I feel that Manchester United should not, be treated like a small club. Ten Hag is treating us like a small club, lowering us to the level of priding in, being number one in ball recoveries. That's nonsense. That's not Manchester United talk. That's not what you talk about in a press conference. If you're a Manchester United manager, he needs to watch. He needs to watch videos from uh, Sir Alex Ferguson's pressers after losses like that, because Ferguson also lost games at Old Trafford, and for me, it's not about the loss at Old Trafford to Man City more so. They are always going to beat us, but not in that manner. Not in that manner. No, no, no. Not in that manner. We need to lose honorably. Brighton is losing honorably. They have lost, I think, more games than us, but they are losing honorably. So for me, I don't think it's they haven't lost more games than us, but they are not so far away from us. That's what I mean. But their performance, they lost to Man City, for example. Brighton was beaten by Man City, and no one will call for the Zabi's head because the way they lost, they should have been taken out and given bonuses for how they performed against Man City. For us, these players should be taking pay cuts week in and week out. Why? For doing absolutely nothing. They are doing absolutely nothing in that jersey. They are shaming this badge. They don't. Some of these players look like they don't deserve the badge. The beauty is that Aaron Wan Bissaka returned to training. I do believe he should be available in the squad for the game tomorrow against Newcastle. That should be a good one for him to test his fitness on return. Then Malaysia was apparently part of those in the nightclub where Marcus Rashford was the night after the derby loss. That he was also part of the party. Well, I don't think he's a decent player, but I don't think he's one we should be focused a lot on now. Casemiro returns. We hope he will be fit to play. So yeah, pretty much Sandro Martinez is still not available. So pretty much we are there. So in terms of injuries, for me, it's not even the injuries or the fit. The fit players we have are enough if they are well put together to give us better performances, not to win the title, but better performances or lose more honorably. For us, the fans not to be as pained as we are now after being obliterated by the noisy neighbors in blue. So yeah, hotspot. My name is Webb. Thank you, guys. It's been a while. Sorry, my sound too low. I'm still fixing it, guys. I do hope tomorrow it will be better, and I do hope it will be clearer. I'm just, I think, just trying to acclimatize to this new mixer and how the adjustments. But I'll get it. Don't you worry. We're still together. Hotspot. Subscribe. Today has been only 30 minutes. I'll be back live again tomorrow, and we'll be talking more Manchester United. But I still do want to get your comments. What do you think? Do you think Manchester United should sack Erik Ten Hag? My opinion is no for now, but yes, if things stay like this, continue like this. But for now, it's a no. But I've given you my reasons why that debate holds water. Speaking of water, it's what I need now. Subscribe. Have a good night, fam.